My partner Assad is from Somalia. He came to the U.S. in 2005 and has been in Vermont for the past few years to finish his high school career. Assad is a quiet student who keeps to himself. My assumptions from the beginning have taught me that he has been an ongoing but a well-understanding person. Despite being quiet, he is a kind and responsible student. He has only fallen behind on a few assignments and never misses class. Outside of school, he loves to play soccer and hang with friends, which we learned this week that adolescents start to be more with friends than family in Western culture. He seems to be becoming bicultural. His weekly schedule is usually government class and English class, at least when I am with him. In government class, we talked shortly before class started. Assad said he was ready for break next week, which as a future teacher I know that this week before vacation can be stressful and not to push students too much. We took a trip to the library to hear from guest speakers from Bernie Sanders' campaign. They were congratulating a fellow student of Assad's on winning an essay contest. Assad also wrote an essay for the contest, which I did not know about, and I was proud of him for entering and trying his hardest. This can be another reason to focus on his writing level on the WIDA standards. Man Representative Senator Sanders took the time to talk about essay topics and current issues. Students got to ask questions, and I thought it was great. Assad himself did not say anything during the time in the library. He truly is a quiet person, and I want to try and get him out of his comfort zone in some way in the next couple weeks. In English class, it was very hectic this week. The students were wrapping up their text, I am Malala, and everyone was finishing up late or missed assignments. The teacher gave all the students the 3 prompts they could choose for their final perspective essay on the final assignment of the book. I asked Assad if he had any essay prompts in mind, and he said he wanted to write about a question asking if education should be a right or a privilege, which is highly spoken in the book. I am looking forward to observing Assad's progress with the essay, and let him know that I'll be there to help when he has a second set of eyes on his work. For his papers and assignments, Assad and the rest of the class use laptops and Google Docs to type their papers, and I keep watch for when he uses spell check to try and help him spell the word out loud before letting the computer be his guide. Later on in class, the students had a short grammar lesson on direct and indirect pronouns. Assad's grammar is much better than I would have initially expected, but I want to enhance his vocabulary. To do this, I noticed that the class had their weekly vocab homework due, and I asked Assad if any words stood out to him and if he ever uses the words. He said he pointed out a few with a smile on his face that he enjoyed, and as a future teacher, I know it is smart to keep up with vocab in class, and also to try and incorporate the words into essays when possible. I always tell Assad to proofread all his work week after week in order for him to have success in his essays. And I told him that as it was time for me to leave the high school that week. What we learned in this week for class was friendships and peers. Assad's friends seem to be the only ones that I can observe in school. From what I've learned, people in school and classes can be friends, meaning they have deep, intimate relationships, but they can also just be peers, people that are in class and are associated with one another, but on a very simple level. Assad's friends that he hangs out with outside of school could also be his classmates. He has a couple students that are in multiple classes with him, who he sits near and talk back and forth throughout the day, who could very well be his closer friends. In class, they're usually all focused on the teacher, however. Bullying is something that can affect a student's academic, social, physical, and mental state. With cyberbullying, students are never even safe in their own homes. During my visits, I have noticed little to no signs of bullying of any sort. Assad seems to be the type of person who does not have/make enemies. As a future teacher, bullying is something that is extremely important to be aware of. As Assad goes through the rest of his life and adolescence, his friends will change and become more intimate, and I can certainly say he has become a friend to me.